Hello friends! This video is going to be about citadels, specifically citadel registration. I'm going to break this into 3 parts. So registration during the citadels and then kind of afterwards with rewards and things like that. First things first, if you want to register for a citadel, you have to be an R4 or an R5 of an alliance. This video is mostly going to be for them. But if you're thinking about becoming an R4 or an R5, this might be useful for you, and if you're just curious about the process. So my eyesight isn't super great, so this was something I just noticed today, and I wanted to show you in case you didn't notice. So if you go to event rewards, I always just saw this as like a list of possible things that you could get, but I just realized that each one of these is actually specifically what is at those Citadels and Strongholds this time, so that's cool. I have been playing since April and registering my alliance for Citadels and Strongholds since, I don't know, May or so, and I just found that out today, and it's like August. I normally go in through Fortress Battles, Citadels, and so then you see the ones that your team has, and then when you go to sign up for a stronghold, I would like click on it, see control record, be like, oh yeah, those people, I could take that stronghold from them. Rewards and roles, oh yeah, enhancement materials, that's a good reward, and then I would register for that. So our registration period does not start until tomorrow. One thing that can make it easy today is to look at, you can zoom all the way out and look and see who owns these citadels now, so that you can get a quick overview of who you might want to attack. So these two are the top 2 alliances. This is a very weak alliance on our server. So especially if that was a concern, if that was something we were looking for, I'd be like, okay, so Citadel 3. So this one's 4. Again, number 2 alliance, no thank you. That's the number 3 alliance. They're probably a little too strong for us, number 3. This alliance we could probably take on. That's us. That's us. That alliance we could probably take on. And these 2 are too strong for us. So that's like tomorrow, those labels will be off because that's who won it now. And when it's protected, you own it. Tomorrow, if we wanted to find out who had each building, you have to click on each one and say control record, and then you can look and see. And it's the same for the strongholds too. So the strongholds will be labeled with the alliance that has them. So these victory rewards are specifically based on who attacks the garrison first and kills the people inside the garrison. This goes to everyone in the alliance, regardless of whether they were online or not. This brown one here goes to everyone in the rally, or just to the one player that attacked the building. So that's why it's recommended to rally the buildings, because then up to 15 of your members can get that brown chest. And if only one person attacks, then only one person gets that chest. So that's 400 diamonds, 20 speed ups, and then 25,000 hero XP. And on strongholds, you get 2 boxes, so it's double that. And again, this would go to the whole alliance. So if one of your alliance members messes up and accidentally solo attacks, at least this blue box and these allocatable Legion boxes will still be sent to your alliance, but only the person who solo attacked would get that Legion combat supply. So generally, highly frowned upon. You might want to, punish that person in some way, but I also just really spam, do not solo attack, join my rally, join my rally, join my rally. So, and that's also why it's frowned upon to attack citadels by yourself, even if you're the only one in your alliance online. I know that doesn't really seem fair, but if there's a large alliance there with 10 or 15 people, they're going to set up a rally. It's not going to hit for 5 minutes. You can very easily go in there, attack it, hit it, get that one box just for you, and then you can get those these things for your alliance, but you're going to really have angered the alliance that was there, and they're probably going to zero your whole base. So it might not be worth it. It's just something to think about. People get super cranky over missing out on Citadel rewards, especially first hit rewards. Then this control reward, that purple box, goes to everyone in your alliance after you've held your Citadel or Stronghold for 30 minutes. And then again, just like with the other boxes, you can see for Strongholds, you just get 2 of the boxes instead of 1. So this, it says, you've been successful. You get the 2 because I was in the rally. So this is going to be the first hit rewards for this specific Stronghold. I get the 2 for being in the rally. Everyone in my alliance gets these 2, whether they were online, active, inactive, 20 days offline, it doesn't matter. Everybody gets that. And then again, 2 of these purple chests get sent out 30 minutes after we've held it and we've gained control of it. This is an allocatable supply, so that is something I would have mailed out to everybody. So when people think about Citadel or Stronghold rewards, this is what they think about, is these specific ones. But as I already pointed out, you get a lot of boxes sent either automatically or through being in the rally or through the allocatable chests. So there are a lot of other Citadel and Stronghold rewards other than these. So if you're like, oh, I don't feel like taking that because it's just a buff that I don't really need, take it anyway because the boxes are 1000% worth it and those buffs do come in handy. And now for the fun part, the Citadel rewards. So these 3 are buffs. If you are hardcore going after Central Plaza every 2 weeks, these are great. If you don't have them, they're expensive to buy with gems. So there's an option. A lot of times in this game, people want to distribute things nicely through diplomacy, whatever, and you don't end up doing a lot of PvP. And if you don't do a lot of PvP or really hard stuff, which is generally only PvP, you really don't need those buffs. So the only time I've ever used them was during the Central Plaza fights, and we have tons of them because my alliance used to get a lot of Citadels and Strongholds. So they are my lowest priority thing that I'll try to go after if I'm specifically picking my Citadels based on rewards. The other one that gets old really quick is this purple one because they do not work on the new heroes, they only work on the old ones, but a lot of people have a lot of use of them for a while. Here you can see if you didn't have this buff from Citadels and you wanted that buff, it's 20,000 gems. So if you are planning on buffing yourself, these are very good and a great source of strength where you don't have to pay for gems. You can also do a 2-hour boost for 2,000. So that's more likely what you're going to want to do is either boost yourself for like 2 hours of the 3 hours of Central Plaza kind of thing. Because normally by the end, people have kind of given up. So you start with the 2-hour buff, and if you need it, you do another 2-hour one, and you end up only paying 4,000. But if you have the free buff from Citadels, there's that option. These things are useful for a very, very long time. I'm on server 5 and I have 3 at 80, 1 at 79, and 1 at 78. So I still need Hero EXP, and I've bought Hero EXP with gems for discounted prices, and it's still not max. So it does take a long time. And the gear, you just get an insane amount of gear. So it's always useful to be able to level up your gear. So those are awesome. Obviously, Jerry shards and Yuri shards are very good. My personal preference would be for Jerry shards over Yuri shards because you get more Yuri shards for free through the recruitment tokens and other events. But that's going to be alliance specific, what you guys think is best. Legendary manuals obviously are good. The one problem is if you have a lot of free to play players, they run out of use for legendary manuals of both types pretty quickly because they're not able to star up their heroes. They're not able to use their manuals, so they don't need them as much. If you have a lot of big spenders, they want those books and they will make good use of them. These purple shards do not work on the new heroes. So on server 5, those to me are useless. They're just being turned into whatever shards for the guild merchant club, or actually I think I just haven't used them, hoping that eventually they will be able to be used on the new purple heroes in the future. But a lot of people have a lot of use of them for a while. That leaves speed ups. Speed ups are always useful. I mean, anybody, any level, always going to be useful. And when you get to be 30, you have to wait on stellar crystals for building, but you probably still have a ton of research to do. And I mean, you can always use it for troops, or healing. So this was also just the rewards for this particular week. It does change every week. So you will see both types of legendary manuals. You'll also see teleports. Teleports are very common. I'm actually really surprised there aren't any. I'm pretty sure I've also seen the purple quality manuals of both the trial type and the march type. But they can vary, so again, just check and see what they are. So for me personally, if this was week 1 and I was not restricted by rules or allies or anything like that as far as what citadels I could pick, I would go for Jerry and probably one of the hero EXP citadels and strongholds. We had this situation where there were Jerry and Yuri shards, and we got first pick of citadels. So on my server, we just decided not to fight for citadels. Number 1 on strength got first pick, number 2 on strength got second pick, number 3 on strength got third pick, and the 4th one was then a free-for-all. In my alliance, I brought it up to the other R4s and R5s, which one they'd rather have between Yuri or Jerry, but Citadel week 1, they were still pretty new, and I had been playing the game since April, so they were like, just pick whatever you think is best. So we did go for Jerry. Obviously, either one of those are great. So then your second pick would be whatever the other shards are. Third pick then would be, in my opinion, the gear EXP, because that's very useful for a very long time. Legendary manuals used to run out of usefulness very quickly for free-to-play players, but now that they have more heroes, they are definitely still really useful. Obviously, you can never go wrong with speed-ups. The purple shards are also very useful, especially early game, because people are using those heroes a lot. But that's just my opinion. If you have allies, you should talk to your allies about which citadels or strongholds they are going to sign up for so that you don't compete with them. And then the other thing was, on my server, we actually decided not to fight for citadels at all, which is probably why our server is so dead. There's been no PvP really. So straight down the line for the 12 citadels, we just did first on power got first pick, second on power got second pick, third on power got third pick, all the way down through 10. And then we also kind of had extra 9s and 10s that were added to the group. So, the first week, 12 people got them. Because you can only do 1 per week. So the second week then, we still kept it, I think, 1 per alliance. The third week, we switched it so that the top 3 all had 2. So if it's week 2 or week 3, it gets a little bit more complicated because depending on the strength of your alliance, you might need to specifically go after weaker targets. So you're not looking at the rewards at all. You're looking at which teams you could possibly beat. You also want to look at which teams you don't want to piss off. So, you might not want to go after the top strength or the second or third strength team because they're very tough to beat. But you also don't want to get on their bad side because they might come and retaliate. However, if you have a nap policy, they should not, because all is fair in love and citadels unless you have rules otherwise. So, in summary, you pick your citadels, weighing rewards, allies, rules of the server, and who you're willing to possibly upset. And you can put however much weight on each of those categories that is appropriate for you. Okay, so you've looked at the rewards, you've decided which opponent you're going to go up against, and now you need to register for your citadels and strongholds. I'm not actually going to officially register for anything on this account because On this server, we have divided up our Citadels and Strongholds. We are late in the season, so we've got our ones that are set, and I don't want to confuse anybody by signing up for something they shouldn't be attacking. So you can see the 3 Citadels we already have, and the 1 Stronghold we have is already automatically registered. If I wanted to register for another one, I could click on Register Now. It will take me to that place. When I click on register, it will ask me what time. And if you only select one time, you cannot click confirm. You have to select 3 times before you're able to confirm. And once you've confirmed it, then it will show up on Citadel Battle for here. I read through the rules the first time I was trying to sign up for Citadels and Strongholds, and it sounded like you could sign up for 2 Citadels, but that is not the case. You can only sign up for 1 new Citadel and 1 new Stronghold per week. So even if you were the top strength alliance, you could only have 1 Citadel and 1 Stronghold week 1. You could only have 2 Citadels and 2 Strongholds week 2, 3 and 3 for week 3, etc. Obviously, the first season, you don't get Strongholds until later on. I think it was week 3 or 4. So you can't sign up for those yet, obviously. So as the season goes on, you need to decide, are you going to keep collecting them if you're strong enough? Do you want to share with other people? You don't really want to take them away from allies. So those are just things you have to figure out. And while I'm thinking about it, if you're somebody that jumps from an alliance to an alliance, you want to make sure that you are in the alliance that you want to fight Citadels and Strongholds for before registration closes. You will not be allowed to fight for those Citadels and Strongholds if you joined after registration closes. The other thing is, once you've registered for a Citadel, if I was to click on Register Now, go to Register, it would say, you're already registered for Stronghold 1. Do you want to cancel this? And that just goes back to, again, you can only do 1 per week. So you might get that notification if one of your R4, R5s already signed up, and then you go to sign up as well. So just make sure everybody's on the same page and you know what the plan is. So actually, one more factor I forgot to mention for which Citadels and Strongholds you should attack. Maybe your base is next to a certain one, and if you attack to that one, you don't necessarily need to use a teleport. So in our case on our server, since we divided them up evenly, we actually rallied from base. So you can see our base is there, and we went for that and that. Here's another example with my other alliance. After we decided we didn't want to do picks every week because it was getting to be annoying, we did picks in order that were permanent. And so our picks were the 2 Citadels that were right next to us. We could actually rally both from base. So you could send someone to this area, you could send someone to the other one. Everyone that was at our headquarters here before we moved was able to just join from base without using a teleporter. And saving all those teleports is pretty huge. After we moved into the block and our headquarters was somewhere like in this area, it became a little bit too far to march. It was more like an 8-minute march, I think. So what I did is I actually teleported here. So I'd be in the blue area, still got my buffs, which is not a huge deal, but it all adds up. But that spot again, right where our old headquarters used to be, I already knew would work very well for joining both Citadels. So I could use 1 teleport and join either Citadel. It's gotten a little trickier now that we have 2 Citadels and 2 Strongholds, because unfortunately we had a Citadel, then our Stronghold that we could rally back from base, then the Citadel that was over here. But you know, these things happen. Normally you want to teleport in and you want to be close, so I don't generally recommend picking based on location unless you know you won't have anybody going after your Citadel. So I had also mentioned not wanting to register for things to confuse people possibly, and the first couple of weeks we were doing picking based on rewards. So rank 1 picked first, rank 2 picked second, rank 3, etc. And so you would be auto-registered for what you attacked the week before, but you were not allowed to attack that citadel because you picked a new one this week, if that makes sense. So we might have gone after 10 last week because it had hero EXP, and we were first pick, and we went after a citadel that had teleports, like maybe Citadel 3. So we'd be registered for 10 automatically, and then we would have manually registered for 3. If you did something like this, where you are automatically registered and you're not allowed to take it, a good thing to do is to put one of these markers. So don't use the attack marker. I use anything but the attack marker. And I literally put up notes like this. Do not attack this. You will break nap 10. This is not ours. And for the most part, it worked. We only had, I think, one person try to send an attack one time, and thankfully they didn't take the first hit reward, so there wasn't any problem. But it never hurts to add extra markers. Here's another common marker. So this is what I used for the 2 citadels. And I said, we will rally this from base. Join Katniss rally. Do not rally or attack directly. And even though I put that marker on both of those citadels, I will still mention at least 3 or 4 times in chat not to attack or rally directly, to only join my rally. So join my rally, join my rally, join my rally. And so far so good. Haven't had any issues. But again, we have a lot of new players. We've been getting a lot of new and low level players even every week. So we've inherited them from other alliances that have died. So never assume that everybody that's online and everybody that's going to join knows what you're doing. Literally like 2 weeks ago in my server 5 alliance, somebody accidentally attacked the citadel directly. It actually happened twice on the same day. I mean, these things happen. The person had apparently never done citadels before. She was very mad that everybody was mad at her. And she ended up leaving the alliance, long story short. But it's just one of those things. You as an alliance, make sure that they know very clearly, don't attack directly. Obviously, if your server's been around for like 4 months, people should know, but maybe they don't. So anyway, I still, especially at this point with our server only being like a month and a half old, every time, do not attack directly. Join my rally. Do not attack directly. Do not touch the building. Just join my rally. It's a little excessive, but it's been working. I am actually a huge fan in general of using markers on buildings. It's really come in handy for our labs that have been getting attacked and for labs that we need to take back. The last thing to know as far as the registration and kind of pre-fight goes, once registration closes, instead of it saying registered periods with a bunch of times, it will just have one time. So it'll say like Citadel time is 13 UTC. There will also be a little white box right there, and that's what you want to click on to add the Citadels and Strongholds to the calendar, which is so nice. Once you do that, you click on the little calendar up there, and it would just be listed under 8 hunt kind of thing. Actually, it would be listed above 8 hunt if it was 13. So our 8 hunt is at 1, so 13 would be above.